So the positive responses started coming through literally in week one. In week two, we'd put in a phone call to a particularly exciting opportunity. By the end of week two, we'd had the initial, we call it a business assessment meeting. I think you guys call it the demo. The following week, we closed the deal. So to get a cold lead and close it in 2 weeks was phenomenal for us. We were just blown away by the response. We were completely surprised at how well our message landed with our core customer profile. The number of positive responses that we got was just incredible. And it was incredibly encouraging for us as well, that we knew that what we were doing had that there was such a profound need in the market, and we just hadn't managed to get that message and connect it with our target market. We got many more positive responses than we ever anticipated we would. We were bowled over by the negative responses, because our core customer profile is the CEO of a mid-market business doing between 10 million and 500 million rand turnover per annum. Actually, we targeted at 10 million and 200 million rand. And even the people that were negative were these were CEOs of businesses, busy, growing, scaling businesses, busy CEOs. They took time to write meaningful, sincere responses explaining why our offering wasn't appropriate for them. We were clear that we wanted to grow the business. We wanted to grow it faster than we had been growing it up until that point. And so, the rate at which we were getting new inquiries and leads into the business through the organic referrals was simply not fast enough for the rate at which we wanted to grow the business. And so, we were looking for new ways to drive inquiries into the business. I mean, you can't grow a business if you don't have clarity around your sales funnel. Our problem was we weren't certain whether we had an efficient and effective sales process. So we put in a lot of effort. We've got a very, very well thought through sales process, but we just had nothing coming in on the front end, or completely insufficient number of leads coming through on the front end to get a meaningful amount of data that told us whether our sales process was effective or not. Now that we've got a much higher volume of inquiries coming through on the front end of the sales funnel, we're getting much more data telling us what are our conversion rates from stage to stage to stage, and what is the time, the cycle from stage to stage to stage. I think it was really just your experience in the process. That we've done what you had said that we were likely to do if we try to go it ourselves. That it was going to be difficult, it was going to be time consuming, we're going to make lots of mistakes. We can try carrying on hacking this ourselves, or we can go with a team of people who do this all day, every day, and who can just completely compress our learning journey and get us up and running quickly and fast. Liking the fact that you had a strong technology underpinned to the way you were going to go about doing things, the automation, the AI that goes into it, it just seemed to make a whole lot of sense in terms of our ability to accelerate into this space. But the big thing about the onboarding was around identifying that ideal customer profile. And I love the exercise. I love the framework that you gave me to work with to get to that ideal customer profile. Because what was their state before they started working with us? What were they trying to achieve? What were the problems that were getting in the way of them achieving that? And then what did they ultimately achieve from that? And so I built out a big table, 30 different businesses, with articulating all of those key points, and then analyzing across all of those the common themes, the common trends that I could pick up in terms of where their business was at and what they were trying to achieve. And that was amazing, because once I had that table, I could very quickly scan across, and I picked up 4 common problems then
Yeah.
every single one of those businesses, they had either one or
Yeah.
multiple of those 4 problems. And those then became our core message that we then, built into the initial emailer that went out. Knowing that Levin would then build that initial message based on everything that I'd kind of researched and come up with. And I didn't have to think about what that first message needs to look like. It was a huge sort of sense of relief for me to know that you guys would apply all of your experience to crafting that first message. And so when it then appeared in my online platform, and Levin and I had a conversation around it, and we just tweaked and refined it, but it was almost on point. There was only a few tweaks that we introduced, and then we had our first message, and that was really, really exciting. I love that. So the positive responses, Levin, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we were getting something like 21% positive response rate.
Exactly.
Yeah, which was also, just incredible. And so from the positive reply, everything is templated.
Yeah.
So we've got a whole set of templates.
Yeah, yeah.
We know how to, it's a templated response to positive replies, templated response to neutrals, and templated response to negatives. There's a standard process. So our new coach is running that process. So she knows it's a very repeatable process.
Yeah, great.
So the importance about a repeatable process is that we can get consistent results. Also, what's also been very helpful has been the ongoing support. So those traction calls that happen every Tuesday and Thursday, whenever I felt that I was lacking confidence, I wasn't certain, knowing that I could jump onto that call, get my questions answered quickly, would allow me to move forward. And that was valuable for me in the setup phase when we were getting things started, and I was still very uncertain. But what I've also now seen is with my new coach, she also has to figure out in this confidence game and understanding where she's winning and where she could get better. And she's also able to jump onto those traction calls, and you're providing her with insights and guidance, and that's that confidence that it's giving her, plus the load it's taking off me, to provide her with that insight and knowledge. You really tripled up my capacity to get her up to speed in the sales space.
Wonderful.
So, we've just had lots of wins in every respect. In fact, I already have recommended Comex to a number of different businesses already. I think it needs to be carefully thought through. The nature of the business, the type of offering that they have. I think that's important. I also think that, I just think about the amount of work that is required of the customer, of your customer. I was thinking about the amount of work that I did to get to the outcome. It's important that if you're taking on Comex, that you've got the space to do that initial setup. You've got the time. You've got to commit. You've got to have time, and you've got to be prepared to invest into that setup process. Setup process is excellent, but it requires somebody with deep insight and knowledge of the business and of the market that the business is going into, and a level of comfort with sales, really, and marketing, to do the heavy lifting that's part of that setup process. But I think if that setup process is done well, if the business person invests the time to set it up well, they will see results. It's just a thank you to you guys for opening our eyes to a new way of doing things, and really, walking side by side with us and making sure that we get the results, being available to help us to get the results.